Gamers, you need to play Elden Ring Nightrein and defeat this boss before June 26th when it goes away. Without a single word of warning, Nightrein has released its first ever Dark Sovereign, an enhanced version of the Gaping Jaw, which is the boss that most of the community has agreed is the easiest out of all of Nightrein's main bosses. However, this version is anything but easy. This is the kind of boss difficulty that you see from Melania and Promise Concert Radon that hardcore From Software fans absolutely love. So if you're one of the players who are on the fence on whether or not to attempt this boss, I highly encourage you to do so because the rewards for winning this fight are insanely good. When you defeat this boss, you gain access to a new currency that can be used to unlock new relics and new relic rights, most of which are optimized for specific characters, and the ones that are not are just generally some of the best relics I've seen in this game, period. You also gain the ability to control shifting earth events, which not only makes runs just generally easier, but for a lot of players, a lot of their final trophies that they need to get before getting the platinum are locked behind specific shifting earths, and it's very hard to get them when you don't have this ability. Additionally, one of the rewards you can get is an upgraded version of Adele's relic, suggesting that the only way to get this specific relic is by defeating him in his Everdark form. So you basically must beat him by June 25th or June 26th if you live in Japan if you want that relic. You can also spend this currency on cosmetics, and it's much quicker to get cosmetics this way than it is to use Merc. Now, there are a few important tips to actually winning this fight, especially if you're someone like me and you have to do the fight in solo queue and are not necessarily good enough to always carry a team to a win. The first important tip is that Adele shifts into his final stage much earlier in the fight than you probably expect, as it's closer to him losing 35% of his max HP rather than the usual 50%. And when he does change to his second phase, it does not matter which Nightfarer you are or how good your shield is, you need to run away as he will hit you with two separate AoE attacks, one to hit you and another that summons a tornado. Now, once you're outside of the tornado, you're going to be in the storm, and very much like the Ring of Darkness in days 1 and 2, you will take damage over time that you cannot avoid, even by rolling. But do not run back into the fight, as Adele will be hitting everything in the general area with even more damaging AoEs. Instead, jump into the spirit streams and go over the tornado and avoiding the massive damage. This will also help your team learn to do the same so that they don't just die. Additionally, remember that poison is not Adele's only weakness. Adele's also very weak to frost and Scarlet Rot. It's usually safe to assume someone's going to bring poison as it's its advertised weakness, so I actually recommend bringing a frost applying relic and upgrading your base weapon during your run. Now, under no circumstances should you ever bring either a lightning weapon or a fire weapon, as Adele has resistances to both. In my first successful run, I used Wilder and equipped Knight of the Miasma and Knight of the Rise as two of my relics. This gave me poison and frost on a single blade while upping my damage when either is inflicted, and these buffs stack together. In my third slot, I just put on my best yellow relic that had partial HP regeneration upon post-damage attacks. To equip this build, you will need to buy the Sacred Erdtree Grail after beating the final boss for the first time. So if this video helped you out, subscribe before June 25th when the next ever Dark Sovereign boss releases, and I will see you in the next one. Later.